It's Thursday, August 6th, and this is your Barbados Today Evening News Update. A warm welcome to you. Police are continuing investigations into a death on the compound of the Eunice Gibson Polyclinic in Warren St. Michael. At news time, lawmen did not provide any further details. We will update the story on our social media platforms as more information comes to hand. The Barbados Union of Teachers says it has no issues with the proposed September 21 start of the new school year. The announcement came last evening from Chief Education Officer Joy Adamson. BUT General Secretary Herbert Gittins told Barbados Today the union is now set to meet with education officials next week to discuss the logistics for the reopening of school. The Barbados Optional Savings Scheme, BOSS, is performing reasonably well. That's the word from Central Bank Governor Cleviston Haynes. He provided an update as he delivered the bank's half-year economic review on Wednesday.
So far, I would say it has gone well. I think there was a statement in the press by the Ministry of Finance over the weekend which indicates that for the first month, and we've already only had 1 month, that there were about $3.5 million dollars in bonds available for sale on the secondary market, and those were taken up. Most of them were actually taken up by individuals rather than by institutions. I think, if I'm correct, 80-85% of the bonds were taken up in that first round by individuals. We've also, as I understand it, have good demand for August and into September. So far it has been going reasonably well.
Residents of Parishland St. Philip are not happy with government's plans to relocate squatters to their community. And chairman of the Carpenters Glade Homeowners Association, Ian Drakes, is calling on the management of the National Housing Corporation to come clean with residents and inform them of their plans. On Monday, ground was broken in the St. Philip development, and Minister of Housing, Lands and Maintenance Dr. William Duguid revealed that houses would be constructed for 20 squatters who were residing illegally in Rock Hall, St. Philip. But at a meeting this week, a group of residents led by Drakes held a meeting in the community where they claimed the NHC has been ignoring their concerns for a while.
We have written to housing, officially complaining, but we have more than one occasion for the last couple of months asked the superintendent of housing to actually address some of our blocks, our lots, and we really haven't getting any movement from the gentleman, and we just need his answers. We have been bombarded with rain. As you all know, it's rainy season. We have overgrown a bush in the road, drainage block up. We also have people getting washed away, literally getting washed away in their houses. We have made numerous complaints, and there seems to be no answer we're getting from housing. There's also a set of 1A to 1A lots that is being allocated to hearsay, but like any day, to the squatters, because it's actually been a groundbreaking in Parishland in our neighborhood. And housing management haven't had the decency to actually come up to us and say what is happening in our development. I think that is very much gross disrespect, that they could have at least come over to us and say something.
The residents are seeking legal advice from former Minister of Housing and Lands, Michael Lashley QC. He says he will look into the matter.
There needs to be some communication between the management at National Housing Corporation and the residents down here. I believe that if there is anything that impact on a development under the National Housing Corporation, that there should be some conduit of communication where a representative or a representative on here, I understand there's a committee in place, and that committee then should liaise with National Housing Corporation to get a full understanding of what's happening close to their houses.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To regional news now, Jamaica's Chief Justice Brian Sykes is concerned that public criticisms of two recent high-profile cases could undermine public trust in the justice system. We get more from Ocean Masters of Television Jamaica.
There has been heightened public interest in the habeas corpus applications of 5 men detained under the states of emergency and the Kensington Primary School here issue. In a release on Tuesday, Justice Sykes said the events of the past 2 weeks serve as a reminder that comments should not be made before all the relevant facts are obtained. He noted that the public should not form any conclusion based extensively on information gleaned from the media regarding judicial decisions. His comment comes as citizens have been criticizing the judges in both the Kensington Primary students' case and the SOE detainees. Justice Sykes says the court's decision was based purely on the law, evidence, and submissions presented to the court. He says while criticism of the court's decision is welcomed, persons should not suggest that judges were biased in their conclusions. In the meantime, Justice Sykes says the abuse of judges by way of social media and other platforms is to be condemned. He says members of the public should appreciate that the system of litigation is one in which there are 2 or more parties and they may not all be of the same view.
On the international scene, the University of Washington health experts forecast on Thursday that nearly 300,000 Americans could be dead from COVID-19 by December 1. They, however, said 70,000 lives could be saved if people were wearing masks.
White House health experts on Thursday warned of a slow rise in the percentage of people testing positive for the coronavirus in a number of major U.S. cities and urged local leaders to remain vigilant to avoid a surge. Infectious diseases expert Dr. Anthony Fauci told CNN the increase is, quote, a predictor of trouble ahead. Cities of concern include Boston, Chicago, Detroit, and Washington. Even if most people are cautious, Fauci warned, those not wearing masks or following social distancing guidelines can keep the virus smoldering. He stressed that everyone pull together, a message he also conveyed to Reuters in an interview this week.
We see in our own country a great diversity of the way people approach things, a great difference in the seriousness in which they take it. Whereas if we had a uniformity of it and everybody rowed together in the same boat, we probably would do much better.
Fauci's White House Coronavirus Task Force colleague, Dr. Deborah Birx, identified the new areas of concern this week and said that Baltimore and Atlanta remain at a, quote, very high level, as well as Kansas City, Portland, Omaha, and the Central Valley in California. Birx has been traveling around the U.S. in recent weeks, telling officials not to relax until the virus is under sufficient control. Her message has often been in contrast to that of her boss, President Trump, who this week said the virus will, quote, go away like things go away.
That's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media and bus terminals, as well as Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.